It can't be stated enough that the pistol round is one of the most, if not the most important round in all of Valorant. It sets the stage for how the entire map is gonna play out. But there's one mistake that everybody is constantly making, and that's buying other pistols when you have the best one in your pocket for free. Yeah, sure, one taps feel nice, they're kind of what everybody loves in Valorant, but unless you have aim like one of these guys, let's be honest, they're probably not happening very often. That's why investing in utility and armor is the better option. And there's data to back this up too, because most of Valorant's fights happen at close and medium range. For example, look at the heat maps of where engagements happened in pro games on Ascent, Bind, and Split. As you can see, almost all of these fights are happening within the effective range of the Classic, and the majority are even happening within the range of the devastating right click. Be honest, how often have you played a pistol round using a Ghost, which is by far the most commonly purchased pistol on pistol rounds, and then taken a fight and dinked somebody, but died thinking, wait, why are they not dead? Why would they buy armor on pistol round? But with the Classic, that could be you. You can have armor and utility every single time. There's one thing that almost every coach and analyst agrees on, which is that Valorant has super strong utility. And on many agents on the pistol round, you have to choose between buying a Ghost and that utility. For example, Sova's drone is incredible against eco rounds because you scout out your opponents and don't let them get close to you. Sage's wall is impossible to break by pistols, and Raze's ability to blast pack into sight and check angles with a boombot is something that you almost always want. So why not just buy that utility that you know is going to get value every single time, and pair it with the GE Classic that you also know is going to get you value as well. Let's look at a few scenarios where this interaction might be the case. For example, scenario 1, Harbor and Sky on Pearl with full utility in Classics. Harbor buys a Cove and 2 Cascades with no armor. Meanwhile, the Sky buys 2 flashes and half shields. We use Cascades to get up close and flash out to fight to get a kill or 2. And in this case, we're not letting the other team use maybe their longer range pistols because we have the Cascades blocking vision. We can then use High Tide and Cove to plant easily. Don't forget to bait out their utility by tapping the spike to see if anyone is brave enough to try and fight through your harbor wall. If they aren't, then one of you can continue planting and the other one can protect the planter. Also remember that the opponents will have to dive into the Cove to fight you, which puts them at the perfect range for the devastating right click from the Classic. The second scenario that we're going to look at is full utility Omen on Bind. Now, conventional wisdom says that you should buy Paranoia and a Ghost, but what if you went armor, double smokes, and a Paranoia as well? Sure, buying the Paranoia and Ghost can get you some pretty good kills on Bind, especially if you're playing B long, since the Paranoia is almost big enough to cover the entire passageway. But having both smokes and armor also helps you be omnipresent on the map and use smokes to buy time for your team on the other site and yourself as well. A well-placed smoke at the right choke point can stall your opponents for longer and buy your team enough time to rotate to the correct site. Similarly, if you're playing Clove, you can buy both smokes and a heal for yourself in the first round to get yourself a winning chance in helping you fight more often. Scenario number 3 is Sage and her wall plus armor on Split. The Sage wall can be a nightmare to break on pistol rounds. It just has way too much health. And you can stall a lot if you pair that with a barrier orb and half shields. Scenario number 4 is Deadlock with Gravnet and basically any damaging utility combo. In this case, we're looking at paint shells with Raze. Deadlock can buy a sonic sensor to lock down one of the lanes to her site, and then use the Gravnet plus an agent like Raze for paint shells to get a lovely kill setup with the net. And that threat becomes even more impressive when they cannot move because they're netted to the ground. One more scenario that I really want everybody to consider is just initiators in general. Their utility is insane, and a lot of the time it's really, really good against pistols specifically because it can take contact for you. So consider investing in their utility as a class as a whole instead of buying a sheriff and foregoing something like a drone, flashes, stuns, or you name it. Okay, this last situation that I want to talk about is something that you guys are not allowed to tell the GE management about because I've been cooking it for a while and it's a little out there. And that is abusing regen shield. It's the newest part of Valorant and nobody's really figured out when you're supposed to buy it, but I think I might have. The thing is, When is the most likely time for you to take some damage but not die? The pistol round. Everybody's spamming bullets, nobody's getting headshot, there's little chip damage here and there for everybody. And that's when Regen Shield really thrives, because you can take an engagement, heal a bit, take another engagement, heal a bit again, and sometimes you can win the round by just having one extra bullet of health. And then if you win the round, most of the time, you don't have to buy shields the next round because the regen shield is left over. And this allows you to rush something like an outlaw or even a vandal, depending on how many kills you got in the previous round. When you buy utility and use the classic, you support your team. And when you buy the VCT capsule, you support your favorite esports team. By repping your favorite team's classic, you have a direct impact on the health of the Valorant ecosystem, because part of the revenue goes directly to support them and help their operations improve. They are by far the most direct way to support your favorite esports organization. So be bold, be fearless, and buy the GE Classic.